Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dare to Dream show. I'm your host, Reverend Graham Williamson, and you are listening to the new streaming network, WGSN-DB Going Solo Network Radio. Welcome to my show. Today's topic, believe it or not, is let's go life after the change called death. I'm sorry, I always upset Cece because I never follow things. I'm hyper because this weekend I just did an event, a spiritual event where I was doing readings. And one of the very last readings I did was a young lady with a boyfriend. He was sitting way over, not listening. And when this lady sat down, I looked down and asked permission to hold her right hand, as I normally do. This hand I'm always talking. And I'm holding her hand, and as soon as I said, please give me your name, she said her first name, I started doing this. And it wouldn't stop. And then I started saying about her hairstyle, her teeth, her necklace. That necklace is not the one. And it turned out she recognized this motion. A brother who passed away not too long ago always did that to her. He said, you're going to wear your teeth out. And they were very close, but he died traumatically. And it was a shock to everybody. He wasn't suicidal or anything like that. But the thing is, the fact I even told her through the reading that she needed to get better clothing on. She'd been umming and ahhing a couple of times. And she wanted to know how I knew that. I said, well, your brother. He wasn't being rude or anything. He was just saying, you never pick the right sort of clothes. You had a decent set in your wardrobe that I love, and you didn't put it on. Why? How do you know about that? I said, because it was there. It wasn't, as I said, he was doubly sure to say he's not being rude, he respects the privacy, but the simple fact, you're my sister and you didn't wear my favourites to come out for a reading today. You see, when people die, the body can be cremated, burnt, whatever, buried in the ground. But the spirit that activates it does not ever stop living, evolving, gaining knowledge. I call it spirit having a human experience, because we are foremost spiritual beings. And over the time that we're on this earth, we have a chance to do things that we've always wanted to do from spirit before we come here. Some people have deja vu about incidents in their lives, and they say, I've seen it, I've done this, but you haven't. It's because your spirit, before it comes into your body, sees things and says, I want to do that. I want to experience that, good or bad. But because we're humans, we always think, oh, why would I ever want to come into this body and experience the pain and the frustration of what happens to me? Now, I openly admit, and I'm not proud of this, but being a recovered alcoholic, failed marriages in my past, all the things that happened to me in my past have not been something I've wanted to do or experience. The heartaches of failed marriages and missing out on the kids and car accidents and wasting all that money on drink and all the turmoil that involved. Why would I want to do that? But as the years have gone by, I've found out, because I've experienced all that, and when I do readings of a recipient, the person that sits opposite me, I can say, I know exactly how you feel. or felt. I've been there. And I normally do this when I do a reading. Hold the hands, take off my glasses, because I don't want to focus. I don't want to say, oh yeah, you've got that thing there. I don't. I just, no. Well, sometimes I actually close my eyes so I'm not distracted by the person's face from what I'm telling them. Because spirit will find any way possible, with safeguards, by safeguards, to share information to you, the recipient. There are a lot of mediums and a lot of psychics that aren't. But there's just as many that are very good psychics and very good mediums. I'm just a medium. I'm not good or bad. I just enjoy doing what I do. But the change from life to death physically is traumatic. Whilst I was doing a lecture on Saturday at the event I was at in Alcala at the Shrine Club, I was drawn to one particular lady sitting far back right hand side. And I was describing what is an evidential medium to the people in the lecture hall. And I was saying about my mother being a rescue medium, my grandmother being a medium. And this lady put her hand up. Seriously? Rescue medium? You? I said, yes, so are you. I've never met the woman before. You see, I don't think beforehand what I'm going to say to people when I'm working with spirit. I don't have to. The whole point of my life is not to think. I'm going to take these off. Because the whole point of life after the change called death is understanding that your spirit is not dormant. But when you die traumatically, but this is going off a little bit, but just to help you understand what I'm on about. When you die traumatically, your spirit doesn't actually evolve. It actually encapsulates itself with its own energy, your own energy. It's like closing your eyes and you think of all the things that you've done in your life, and that's all you see, feel, and hear and sense. But you're in spirit, upon an astral plane or whatever you want to call it, but not in heaven, as we call it. And the rescue medium actually looks at these people whose light isn't bright, it's dim, because they're not shining outward, they're holding it in, because they don't realize that they've passed. So there's a few different options for people when you die. The main one is do the best you can in your life whilst you can on this earth. It's not fanciful, it's not living in fairyland or having, ooh, I've got this feeling. None of that. You are responsible for your words and actions as a medium and as a human being. And when you pass over, did you think that, well, do you think that you're not going to atone for your sins? And I don't mean religiously. I'm not being religious here. It's just a simple fact. I want to say to people before I die that I like them, I respect them, I love them, or whatever, as best I can. My wife, Sandy, she calls me the comedic medium. And I'm seriously considering taking that label on because I somehow make people laugh and cry when I do readings. Because the spirit of the person that comes through doesn't want you to be miserable, doesn't want you to be held back, trapped on this earth with the memory of them passing, them dying. They don't want you to sit there dwelling on, oh, I loved you, why did you leave me? Oh, I'm all alone. They don't want that. Think about it. If you had a choice to look up from the spirit situation, looking down at your loved ones, just hypothetically. If you had that choice to look down and see your friends who know you've passed on, what would your words be to them looking down? I should have told them before I came here. Well, some people have secrets like, I put some money aside for you, I've got it in a safety deposit box. That painting isn't what you think it is, it's worth some money. But I never told them. You hid things from them. Or the life insurance policy. I know it sounds far-fetched, but when you're honest before you pass over, you don't have that weight of guilt when you go on the other side. And I'll tell you now, you cannot take wealth with you, monetary wealth. You just can't. The only thing you take with you, the only thing you can take with you is memory. Literally. I am not proud of some of the things I've done in the past, as I said. But I've been proud as hell the last 24 years. Oh, somebody is saying something to me. When I itch this out, it's family. Family is trying to tell me something positive. I always have to scratch my nose. I apologize. This side, my right side, is to do with outsiders interfering. This side is family interfering. But I know what this side means. It's not a negative. Because spirit have taught me over the years to have telltale signs, routines. They teach me how to be aware, how to understand their message to me. That picture behind me is quite unique to me. I just wrote a book, I told you a couple of weeks ago, I just wrote a book and my friend brought it over. But the people I've been telling about my book that I'm going to have published soon said, how did you do that? I said, spirit worked through me. And I have people that are Native Americans that have passed. And they told me stories. So I'm using the people I've experienced life with on this earth before they passed over and integrated them into my book. Because it's like my memory, like their memories. But I'm keeping them alive by recording it, by telling people the life we live before we have the change called death is important. You don't know how long you've got on this earth. Seriously. So are you going to say you've done your best or doing your best? Have you prepared your family and yourself for when that day actually will arrive? Have you prepared for it? Because it's too late when you've gone. You can only hope that if you find that you're on the other side and you're near your family still on earth, that you can find somebody to mediate, a medium or a psychic, to pass on a message. But to be literal, it's very rare to be exact in passing and receiving a message from loved ones on the other side. I get a lot of mannerisms. I'm an evidential medium, which means I can actually pick up the caricature of the person, the habits, and the way to say words, or posture, or write things. I had a lady also this weekend. I said, you never finished that piece of music. Oh, but my husband died. I said, yeah, but the whole idea was to finish it. And you haven't finished it. You haven't kept your promise to him. And she realized what I was saying. Who told you? I said, he always used to wipe the piano keys a certain way. I said, because he's here. The physical has changed, not the spirit. The spirit's still there, loving you, connected with you. From compassion, empathy, care, love. And I had a lady that rushed into me just before the Saturday's event closed. She said, I want to say thank you. You saved my life. Because what you told me, I can't remember, was it husband or boyfriend who passed away, had told her something about some medicine. I said, have you checked with your doctor about your meds? I didn't know more about it. As I said, I'm not a doctor and I'm not medically trained. And I said, I'm just getting, check your medicine. I sort of kept the same to her throughout the reading. Check your medicine, check your medicine. She was fine, but, appeared to be fine. It turned out she picked up the wrong medicine. She picked up her old medicine, not a new medicine. And the new medicine that was on was a little bit stronger than the old medicine. So she didn't feel the old medicine was working. She thought it was a new one, and she went back to the doctor and said, can I have a stronger dose? Because this one's not working. But when they found out from her going back to the doctor and saying this, no, that's the wrong medicine. You could have died. You see, spirit will talk to you 24/7, but you've got to tell them, no. I need my time on earth with my family. I want to prepare my family every morning. Say, I'm going to do the life's the best I can today. 8 o'clock, leave me alone. Because I know my experiences can help other people. I want you to know that your experiences can help you and those that you love and those that you encounter. Just a simple bending down and helping somebody who's dropped something. A little child whose bike's not working properly, just go over and say, do you need a hand? With permission, of course. You know, all these things, the kindness from your heart, help elevate your energy. So when you do pass over, you can feel in yourself that you've done some good. And you can be, I'm not ego proud, but just proud of your actions. That you've cared for other people as much as you've cared for yourself. The biggest problem I've been encountering is a lot of people are doing things for others and putting themselves last and straining their resources, their own personal energy. And Spirit is just saying, stop it. Look after yourself. You've got to be selfish sometimes, not selfless, by pushing your own feelings aside so other people can control you and manipulate you and make your life harder. The other thing I want to talk about with life after death is prayer. What does it mean? Prayer to me means preparing yourself to get my mind in the right position to ask the divine energy to help me through whatever it is that I need to pray for. Better eyesight, better health, no scares, all this sort of stuff. And people say, oh, but God doesn't always answer you. Well, God doesn't give you what you want. God only gives you what you need. And at the beginning I said about spirit having a human experience. You can't avoid it. You have to go through things in your life and you have a choice in how you deal with it. I grew up a third of my life before I was, from 0 to 17 and a half. From 17 and a half till about 38, 40. Then I sobered up. Still having an occasional drink. But for the last 24 years, I've stayed sober. And that energy I've got because I'm healthier and able to think, feel, respond, interact with others. And I make people laugh. Do you know how difficult that is to make somebody laugh at a funeral? I don't want somebody to go to my funeral. I'm not being macabre here. I don't want people to go to my funeral and say, oh, I wish I could have said, oh. I want people to have fun, because I'm having fun on this earth as much as anybody could do. Because I feel other people, and I know what it's like to feel not seen, not heard, not understood. One of the funniest things I did, in part, was always wanting to write my book. My daughter in England reminded me 2019, start of COVID, and said, have you written it yet? 45 years later. I said, no, I can't remember it. But I remembered it in part. So write it. So I did. And one of my good friends who's a medium, very good tarot medium, was a professional book editor. Now I thought nothing much about this book. It took me 3.5 months solid writing every day. 90-odd thousand words, 270-odd pages. Sent it to her. And then after quite a while, because she did it free for me as a gift, in the time that she's not doing the professional work, she says, Graham, you're number one. World's worst writer I've ever met. We were laughing. She said, seriously, she says, you had a capital letter at the start, a full stop at the end, and paragraphs. No question marks, no exclamation, no commas, no hyphens, nothing. Oh, but she says, because I know you, it helped me understand where you were coming from. Because of your nature, the way you talk, the way you interact with people, and some of the things you've told me in the past. Because we were very good friends. So that enabled me to write and edit your book correctly. Not write it, alter my book so it's readable. So all the time that I thought I was doing a great job, I found out I'm not very good at it at all. But I wasn't letting that hold me back. My friend, with the grace of God that she's got inside her, made me laugh. I said, I'm sorry, my education wasn't brilliant. That's no excuse. So this second book I'm writing, I found a way of doing it better, editing it with AI programs. Because I'm always willing to learn from my mistakes. So when I go upstairs to heaven, or wherever it is, from that change called death, I can look and say, I improved myself. I did better this time. I'm going to do better next time. Every morning I wake up with the same, I will do better today than I did yesterday. And that's my code. I know when I'm not very good. I accept some things I'm not very good at. But it doesn't mean I'm going to sit there and just let it wash over me and hold me down. Why? Why should it? Why should you hold yourself back? The whole point of living is to experience things, to do the best. Another facet of life after death. Spirit always want to talk through the medium. Not many mediums can channel, which is what it's called, to allow spirit to talk through you or use your body to do certain movements. Speech is one of them. But of course, it's not going to be in their voice exactly, but the mannerisms and the methodology of the way they talk may come through. But how's that possible? You have to be honest with yourself. Find out who you truly are. Accept your ups and downs, positives and negatives. And always strive to do better. I know very few excellent mediums that can trance. I know a lot of mediums that clairvoyant, clairsentient. All the different Clairs, C-L-A-I-R, look them up. There's so many ways to communicate, to connect. Spirit's on the other side saying, yeah, we've changed from the physical to the energy, the spiritual energy. We can only connect with you when we tap your memories. You know, when you think of somebody, or you hear a piece of music, or you see a flower or a car, or something that triggers a memory in your head for a person who's passed. Most people instantly think, oh yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember him. I loved him, but they're just thinking this, they're not speaking. And then the memory goes. And the person feels sad. The spirit was trying to connect. If ever you think of somebody that's passed, open your mouth and say, I remember you. Where you been? Talk to them normally. I give my mother hard times because sometimes she comes round. I say, Mum, you picked the greatest time. I'm in the middle of doing something. Or my granddad, or my father, or my uncle, or my friends. And I tell them off. I talk to them. I say, yeah, you screwed that up. You left before we had the party, so why didn't you go? I know it sounds daft, but remember, a lot of people, many, many years ago, before churches got involved and religion got involved, people used to go to the soothsayers, the shamans, the acolytes, somebody that could talk in various tongues, and pass on messages. But when religion came into it, it was stopped because it's considered talking to the dead. Well, I talk to the spirit, which is never ending. That's been proven scientifically. And the whole point of the change, life changes after the so-called death, because the spirit has left the body, is free. I have the title Dare to Dream for this show because of my mother. I don't just dare to dream, I live it. It's my reality on this earth to do better. Imagine a dream that has come true. Mine did. Can yours? I say it can. When you are honest to yourself and do the best you can and prepare yourself, because I'm not kidding you, everybody. We're all going to die physically. We are. That's a given. And you don't know when. I could not see myself living past 31. Not even slightly. It's like tomorrow I've got to go to the doctors for a checkup, and I've got to do this on Friday, and I've got to do this on Sunday. All those days are foreseeable for me. Now, but on my 30th birthday, I thought that was my last one. 70 years ago. I'll tell a lie, my math is terrible. I'm 71 now. So 40 years later on, I've doubled plus my age, where I could not see living past 31. Why was that? Because I was an idiot. I was a drunk. I made stupid decisions. And all the time, I was learning about my gifts. I met a very gifted medium. Her name was Rose. I won't give her last name. Lived in Fareham, Portsmouth. And she put me up from the Navy base I was at. And I stayed with her for about 18 months. And we went on spiritualist events as visitors, not participators. And I met famous people and non-famous people, went to different churches. And Rose called me eventually. She says, you know, I'm going to call you the White Tornado. Because you see things as they should be. As they are, not the facade. And you tell people, no, that wasn't right. This is the truth. And it was always backed up. My gifts were opening up. But it was a tough period in my life, having to be careful what I said to people because I could see the truth. And I didn't want to upset people. That's why it became difficult, learning the boundaries one has, because all mediums and psychics are responsible for their words and actions when giving readings, no matter what they are. You are responsible. So learning those parameters, I'm preparing myself for when that day comes in 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know. Could be tomorrow. I don't know. But I want to say my shows are all about spirit and mediumship and psychic. I never know what I'm going to talk about. But the whole point of my life is to tell you what I've experienced. There's no way I can say, here is 100% what I did. But if you find out who I am, find out where I've been, they'll say, oh yeah, Graham, yeah. I caused havoc at a major food grocery store in Florida. Worked with them for 17 and a half years. And I was called by the CEO of the company, that Graham. Because I did not hide. Yes, sir. Okay, so you're the boss. I'll do what. Yeah, you can browbeat me and tell me I'm wrong, but I know perfectly well I'm not. You made a mistake, boss. But the boss was our boss. That was a bit of a charlatan, but his boss, saw the truth. And being called that Graham by the CEO of the company in a positive manner made me feel, oh, and I wasn't overstepping. I wasn't wrong. I was being truthful, respectfully, and it was acknowledged. Can you say that about yourselves in your work, your home, your life? That you're respected and understood to be an honest? I'm still not perfect. I still make mistakes. But I try my best every day. And people let me know I don't like the word try. But I do my best every day. Because the whole point of your life is to experience the best you can. And that's not always going to happen. If you said to me before I came into this body 71 plus years ago that you're going to experience all that pain, all that stupidity, all those mistakes, and still come out laughing at the end, I'd say you're off your rocker. You completely balmy. You were not wrong. I was. So when I eventually go upstairs, I'm going to say, I'm coming back to say to everybody, yes. When you when you experience a change from spirit into death, you will find out you're limited in what you can do. You need a medium or a psychic. A medium's more able to convey stuff. A psychic can only do the physical aspects. For example, if you walk into a room and you don't feel comfortable and you listen to your instincts and back out and then find out later, oh, it wasn't very good there. Or you see somebody walking down the street wearing clothing, you think, wrong color, wrong style. No, that's psychic because your body responds to stimuli of the physical, material aspect. Mediumship is not about the physical. It's about the spirit within. When my wife Sandy walks into a room for the first time, people, oh, who's that? What's she doing? They feel her energy before they've even met her. And it makes them go, oh, what? What's happening? And people, 9 times out of 10, think and say, oh, she must be doing something wrong. But she's not. Her energy is so good, so strong, that it trips the recipient, the person who's feeling her, as in the energy that's coming through, And I go, oh, but they won't own up to their mistakes, their dishonesty, their errors. Most people can't accept somebody coming in who's good, genuine. And they always say, oh, no, they must be doing something wrong. Instead of owning up to, what am I doing wrong? I can't even thinking about doing a lie in front of my wife. Not that I would. I learned a long time ago, over 24 years ago. It's pointless even thinking of doing it, because all she does is the law. Because she has experienced so much heartache, so much pain. We both went through a lot before we met. And the whole point of life is to experience things. What do you want to do for the rest of your life? As I said, I finally, 45 years later, wrote a book. And the review I got on it was, what are you talking about, my book? What? Did I do that? Wow. Didn't know I could do that in a positive way. I am seriously blown away that the review I got from the publisher was, wow. So I must have done something right. But I didn't think about that when I was writing the book. But that's my life story. Semi-biographical and fiction, metaphysical, and all the rest of it. All these things make me what I am. So I'm prepared for the change called death. I don't know what else to say about being honest and being truthful to yourself, for yourself. But so many of the recipients I encountered this weekend were selfless, less self. They allowed people to control them emotionally, monetarily, materially, physically. And I'm not here to cause judgment or cast judgment. But what I picked up from most of these people was, you have a choice. If you feel that you've been suppressed, hurt, held back, used, abused, that is your choice to say no. You have a limited time on this earth before the change called death. And if you have any questions, you can contact me on a medium77@gmail.com or the Britt77@hotmail.com. Send me an email. I'll do my best to help or find somebody to assist to help you. Or you can call me on Florida, USA, 352-409-1060. Leave a voice message. If you don't, I won't respond or reply. I'll do my best to help you. You can find me on Facebook, Graham Williamson, or Medium Graham Williamson. Yeah, just look me up. I'm here for you. And thanks, Cece. My book will be called A Spirit for All Nations, An Awakening Begins. And I'm the author. Yeah, there's one word missing there, Cece. My fault, not yours. But it's part one of 2 books, maybe 3. I don't know. My tomorrow isn't set in stone. Is yours. And I hope, thank you, Cece. I hope what I've given you today will help you realize every day, treat it as your last in a positive manner. I'm your host of Dare to Dream show, Reverend Graham Williamson. It's on bi-weekly. My next show is on September the 24th at 6 p.m. EST. I don't know what the title is going to be, but I'm looking forward to it if you aren't. And I hope you are, because I've been around for 71 years. I'm a 3rd generation international intuitive evidential medium and psychic. I'm the host of Dare to Dream, and I want to thank you for coming on New Streaming Network. And if you want any other shows, go to the website and seek whatever it is you're drawn to. But don't forget, there's the emails, telephone number. Leave me a message and I'll get back to you. Thank you for coming to the show, everybody. And I'll say goodbye for now. God bless to you.